Sorry, I was muted, but I'm here. Hello, good evening. Welcome to Let's Have a Fefe, Season 12, Episode 20. This is our season finale. I would have thought that Felicia would have been on time. I apparently was wrong. I know she's there somewhere. Don't know where, but it's fine. Here we are. Like I said, this is the season finale, so, why start now? With over 16,000 podcast downloads, it is your Wednesday night conversation. I am not Felicia Minor, but I am Freddie Prince Charming, as my sign says. If we have been keeping folks updated on what's been going on our Patreon, sort of behind the scenes, if you would like to also get behind the scenes things, and there's going to be more content that will be released during the summer while we are on our break. If you would like to also be a part of the cool kids, you can do the same thing and join our Patreon at patreon.com/let's have a Fefe. We'd like to thank our patrons that have been supporting us this season and previous seasons. Brandon, Kristen, Michelle, D, Drake Jensen, Casey Starr, Carrie and Corey, Kim, Joan, Leanne, Nicole, and Shannon. We appreciate y'all so much. Huge shout out to Wigs of a Kind, who has been a big supporter of this season and, of course, in previous seasons. I have not been wearing... oh, look, there she is. I have not been wearing a lot of wigs this season. I've been enjoying the bald. And unfortunately, the wig that I am wearing currently is not a Wigs of a Kind wig, but that's okay.
What the hell? Hi, everyone.
And look, she can. Massive thank you to Guido Martin and Laura Renfro for their amazing support this season. Y'all are awesome and we love you. You can also be awesome and get our love if you want to tip us, sponsor us, whatever, at paypal.me/let's have a Fefe. We are, of course, looking for sponsors and supporters and whatnot rolling into our next season. And I don't know.
Food is good too.
If you're bored, like I said, I cannot guarantee what may or may not show up on these things, but you can.
You're welcome.
Text LHAF to 602-730-7379, and in theory, Felicia will.
I did
send information. I don't know what she sends. I am not responsible for anything that Felicia may or may not send, so take that up with management.
That would be you, because I'm not responsible for myself.
Shit.
Isn't that how management works? You're not.
Oh my god! If I am management, then I am gonna need a raise.
You and me both. Oh boy.
And of course, if you are watching on Facebook, you can click the little star thingies, and we get
some kind of thing.
I still don't know how that works entirely, but it's fine. We're grateful for everything, no matter how big or little or whatever. How was your weekend? What are you doing?
I'm texting people. Isn't that what you just told me to do?
No, you're supposed to do that like a week ago. I don't know.
Before this? Oh no, I didn't think of that. My weekend. Oh, let's talk about after the show last week. So after the show, let's see. I had bingo before that, and I rushed in here. That was fine. Feet were fine. Stay tuned. Feet were fine. Mm-hmm. And then so, I think I'm 21. Keep that in mind as well.
That is definitely a you problem, because I definitely do not think I
am. And so I hosted bingo at Warehouse 251 for the Meeting Professionals International Arizona Sun Belt Chapter. That is the full name. But they usually say MPI Sun Belt Chapter, whatever. But so I hosted bingo. First and foremost, they didn't have a chair, and they thought it'd be cool if I walked around. So I went
How are
along
you
with it
supposed to
because,
do bingo and walk around?
very carefully and maybe on a supported shoe. Um,
Okay.
Most of this is my fault. So we talked about advocating
but
first. I
also
should
but
have advocated
also
for a chair.
but also
I
do they
stood.
not know how bingo works? Like, do they not understand the concept of bingo? Like, somebody has to be there. You can't really
Yeah, I
walk
was there.
around and like, right, but you can't
I was there.
like walk around and pull numbers at the same time.
No, I would walk across the stage and talk to people and then walk back. But anyhow, I knew at some point that my foot hurt. And so instead, because you all know me, I don't pack lightly. So I knew that I should probably walk away for a minute and go get the other pair of shoes. Because I had like these cute little boots. I was wearing this, but I had, even though it didn't match per se, I had these cute little boots that I was wearing that matched. Um, and I could have worn those instead. But did I? Did I? No. I totally did the whole like, I'm fine. I'm fine. I wasn't drinking. I only had one drink. But I didn't do um how I usually do, like a shot of tequila or anything. I didn't do that. Um so I was on my own. And then when I got home, as soon as I took my shoe off and my stockings, my foot was hurting, hurting. Uh, I was fine on Friday because I walked around in those platform boots, which is
Right.
plenty of uh, cushion. So we had a good time at a sellout crowd at Phoenix Cat Cafe, which was a great welcome back.
Hmm.
Um, and
Yeah, folks had
we
a
had a
great time.
blast.
That was awesome.
We even had an angry, I don't want to say, let's say temperamental, because she was mumbling stuff, uh, which brought it full circle. A woman that was older, let's say, and she was like, "Are we gonna play bingo or what?" And I'm like, "Girl, you have not been to our bingo, you know, or any drag bingo, because we talk in between all of the numbers, all of it."
Right. Like, this isn't
Like,
like okay, we're just gonna call the numbers and then we're gonna be done. It's like, oh honey, no, like this is not how this is gonna go, but
so we're
uh-huh.
having like side conversations, and she's like, "Are we gonna call the next number?" I just started laughing to myself because I felt like if I got into it with her, she might want to fight me. And I was like,
Be like,
Casino,
no,
Arizona. And
I'm gonna call the next number when I'm good and ready to call the next number. You can go to hell.
yeah. And so she had fun. She had fun. Uh, but I was fine then. And then Saturday morning, uh, my foot, like I could barely put it on the ground. And I wore my sliders all day long. I never, and then I put a shoe on at some point because we had to go somewhere. But um, the place, we went back to the Kids Empire, and I had to take my shoes off, and it was so painful walking on the floor. Um, so fast forward to yesterday, I'm trying to walk from like my desk to the printer, which is not that far, and I'm just like almost in tears because I'm like, oh my god, what is this? Um, so I did make a doctor's appointment. I can't say that enough. We talk about it all the time that you should go to the doctor, that you should take care of yourself. You know something's wrong, go to the doctor. So I
We
knew
know it's
something was wrong.
possible that it is, it is possible to fuck up your feet wearing the wrong shoes or whatever. In fact, Dominic von Strapp found that out the hard way when they
Uh-huh.
tried to shove their foot into a pair of boots that had duct tape all over them, so there was no give at Fan Fusion.
Uh-oh. Oh
Right.
no.
Mm.
So my shoe, usually I do I have a pair of shoes near me? I do, but I can't reach it. Um, but most of my shoes have that like the platform on the bottom. I
Mm-hmm.
can get away with, wearing the higher heel because I have this. My feet are
Right.
like very sensitive. Like we have tile and I don't do well when I walk around
I
barefoot.
I don't like walking around on tile or hard floors barefoot. It
Yeah.
hurts my feet. So that's why I'm
Yeah.
always
So
in flip flops or something. Something.
yeah. And so me wearing that thinly sliced heel, it was cute. And it was a concrete floor. And so
Mm.
that was a recipe for disaster.
God.
Also, like to emphasize that you need to go to an LGBTQ friendly facility because the first person that I saw, because this was on a whim, my doctor wasn't available.
Oh
They
no.
said, how did you hurt your foot? And I'm like, here we go. And I said, in a high
Mm.
heel. And they looked at me like, I was like, yes. Uh huh. And it doesn't matter if I was in drag or not, but I was wearing a high heel. And
Right.
this, it's not so much the what they say, it's how they say it. And them looking at my hands, uh, and I hadn't shaved.
It's like when I go to a doctor or an ER and they ask for like a surgical history and I tell them I have a hysterectomy and they laugh at me and I'm like, "No, really."
Yeah. And so as
Mm.
I'm trying to gather myself so that I can show them my foot. And they end up going to get this other doctor who is a person of color. We're walking in the step of a right direction. Here we go. And then um, she was like, "Yeah, if you're gonna wear heels, you need a platform, baby." And I'm like, "Okay, this is my girl. Yeah, this is better." Because the first person was, they're like, "In heels?" And I'm like, "You obviously are not familiar with us."
I'm I have some heels that are actually fairly comfortable to wear
Hmm.
for like something that I can walk around in, but there are also some heels that I have that I'll use for like a photo shoot because I'm not walking anywhere. Like I will put them on and then I will put them immediately off after I stand there for 5 minutes and the photographer goes clickety 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 click and then that's it. Like there
And
you have
ideally,
to
that's what the shoe that I was wearing, I usually wear it for like 5 minutes and then take
right,
it off. But I
right.
wore it the whole night.
Yeah, choices.
So luckily, because I have heard of people just putting on their shoes and breaking their feet. Anybody else
That's the
heard that
thing.
before? Um, um, but it has like some weird name. But basically, at the in the pad of my foot is like the muscle is like gathered together. Like when you get a knot in your back. So I have a
Right.
knot in my foot.
Ew.
So yeah. So beware. Uncomfortable shoes can cause damage. I have a lot of people that I have told this story to have been like, you need to schedule a follow up appointment immediately. And I'm like, they're like, you don't fuck with your feet. And I'm like, oh, this is like real. Like, so they're telling
Hmm.
me, including my mom who loves high heels and fought it
I
that
think
she has to wear old lady
I
shoe
think
now.
things
So,
like foot injuries and like foot pain are some of the easiest to ignore because we're just like, oh, I'm on my feet, so my feet hurt. You know what I mean? So we're just like, it's fine. Like it's
well, and
my
that's
feet
what
are
I
sore
thought. I
because I'm
was
stuck.
on my feet
Right.
I was on my feet at work, and so I thought Oh, maybe this is just me being overly sensitive. You know, I'm already overly sensitive, but I thought it was, me being, you know, but on the side of caution, I went. I didn't have anybody like tell me, "Oh God, you should go to the doctor." I went. I, in fact, I probably should have a loyalty card by now because whenever I sneeze, I'm probably there more often than most. Um, take my money. I'd rather feel healthy. So yeah,
Fair.
Dominic, what did we learn? The same lesson that you learned. We will not do that
Don't.
ever again. We will.
And Dominic, I don't know why the chat now isn't showing up over on Restream for some reason, but it is on Facebook. Dominic says, I actually messed up my tendon by
Oh,
putting on my boots for the Sailor Moon number at FanFusion. Yeah. And Dee says that
oh,
she caused issues over time and ended up with a fused large toe and can never wear high heels again. Trust me, I hear about that all the damn time. That and the fact that she can't wear my own shoes, like my shoes. She wants to wear my shoes,
oh.
but we don't have the same size
Does
feet
she wear a
because
size 9 too?
no, her feet are like this big. Mine are like this big.
Oh. I was gonna say, welcome to the size 9 club. Whenever I can't fit something,
No, no, no.
I
Her feet are much bigger than mine. Much bigger than mine.
oh,
Yeah.
you know what they say about big feet? Need more soap. Anyway, so
I mean, yeah.
that
My
was
weekend was
my
relatively
attempt.
uneventful. Cat Bingo Friday was great. I don't
Mm.
I don't think I did much of anything else the weekend. I don't I somewhere along the way my brain got messed up and I
Before
thought
this?
that I literally thought that Monday was Friday. Like I'm having
What?
conversations with people at work. I'm serious. Like I literally was like I was having conversations with people at work,
Oh, this
and in
is
my
true
head
because
it was
on
Friday, and I
on
don't know why.
Thursday, I had you kept saying, like, "I thought today was Friday," or
And I right,
no.
and all
You thought
last week I kept forgetting
Friday
that
was
that
Thursday or
bingo
something,
was happening on
and I was like,
Friday.
"Nah,
Like it
you
was,
not."
yeah. It was my. I don't know why my brain is all over the place, and I don't know why. I blame the heat. It's just yeah.
Uh-huh.
So speaking of summer and the heat, so this being our season finale, I figured it's we're gonna kind of just talk about whatever the fuck because why the hell not? I do technically have like a tip, but then there's a couple other things that I want to talk about as well. We talked about the
Oh,
sensible shoe
wonderful.
choices, which was on the list of things that we needed to talk about. But there's also something else that I want to talk about outside of my tip. But my tip is for the folks that are
Outside of
going
your
to
tip?
be around teenagers this summer. Because those of us that have been around teenagers, if you are listening to anything that they are saying, you have no idea what the fuck they are saying. No
Oh, are
idea.
we doing another
So
vernacular?
yeah. So since school is out, I figure this means that you're going to be more likely to encounter teenagers in the wild. So I decided to present a guide to being able to communicate with one should you come across one, either in your
Oh,
home, or at the supermarket, or
oh.
anywhere. Right. Um,
Mm.
we have some in our home, but we very
Do
rarely
you
see them.
advise
Like
that we don't talk to them, or do we wait for them to talk to us?
I would not approach. I would approach with caution.
Do you feed them?
Mm, I mean, if you are able to, just know that once you feed them, they will never go away.
Oh, is that why they keep staying in here?
Mm,
Oh,
yeah,
damn. Mm.
yeah. So, all right. So this one we hear a lot. I'm kind of feeling like my outfit this evening is lit. Lit means
It's
super
very
rad or awesome. Like,
oh.
bruh, your hat is super lit.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Or, also, other forms include Liddy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've heard Big Lit. I don't know why you would want to be big lit, but good for you. Also, um, is that on here? I don't see it. Straight fire can be also kind of in there.
It's similar, yes, fire, straight fire, or just like the fire emoji, which also I am fire.
Because in my day,
My fit is
I'm saying it.
fire.
In my day, on the aim, if you put fire, that meant like maybe that person was hot, but now it does not mean that.
There's drip is another one. And drip, it can refer to like accessories or like fashion, someone's fashion sense,
Oh,
and you can
like
just
how you
go up to
stone.
just go up to go up to a teenager and say, "Yo, bruh, I love your drip,"
Oh,
and they will immediately know what that you're talking about, and I'm sure then will then try to engage in them.
wow. Wow.
Um, so one that is being seen a lot these days is delulu.
Mm.
Basically, it means a delusional. To use it in a sentence, Jojo Siwa thinks she invented gay pop. Girl is totes delulu.
They use totes?
Totes is still a thing, yeah.
Oh. Oh, I forgot. Oh, yeah, you need to add that one. I'm gonna copy and paste this. Oh, I
Okay.
can't copy and paste? Ugh.
Why can't you copy and paste?
Well, I'll try to copy and paste from the comments.
Let's see. Eight. Eight is another one. To
Yeah.
have eight, there is no conjugation. You can't say you have eaten. It's just eight. It means you did a really good job at something. So good on ya. You can say, I did you see the sweater that grandma knitted? She ate that.
Okay, I have a little bit of a history lesson for this. So, A, first and foremost, a lot of this language comes from either Black queer people
Correct.
or when you're living in POC communities, a lot of like language evolves and changes. Um, we used to say this, and my parents like used to say this is like you ate that up, and it was like to eat up like you served it. So like it's almost like the not the opposite, but it's like the complimentary, like you ate that up, like you were killing it, you were tasteful. I'm trying I'm trying to translate. And so what's funny is like when I heard that, I was like and I work in a predominantly I mean, I this whole area is white anyway, but
Mm.
so um like hearing the kids say it was like, huh? Yes, you ate the house down boots. That's a whole nother level of queer talk. I don't know if we have time, but
I think the house down boots, I think that went away in like 2016. I think that's not a thing
but the
anymore.
resurgence of it came back because it's been on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Good night, Dominic. Yes, yeah. Um so another one that I hear, and I hear my kids say this all the time, and I'm like, I don't even
Your
know what the fuck that
kids?
even means. My kid. Yes.
Hmm.
So this one is bussin, which is not to be confused with bussy. Please, they're not the
They're
same.
not the same. They're not one and the same. It can be
Mm-mm.
used together, possibly.
Right, but no. Uh, that is another simile for great or awesome. Like you can say, I took my date to Olive Garden. The chicken Alfredo is bussin'.
Hmm.
Which, if I ever hear anybody say that, I will punch you in your mouth. Don't ever say that about Olive Garden food, ever. It contains no flavor whatsoever. It is designed for senior citizens who think that
He
milk is.
hates Olive Garden. Hate is a very strong word, and I believe that he has put his finger in the hate for Olive Garden.
This is a new one to me. I've never heard this one.
Oh,
Caught
really?
in 4K. Have you heard this one?
Yes.
So it means that, like, you were, like, kind of unmistakably caught in the act. Like, you weren't caught. You were just whatever. So you can be like, I bought my shoes at a half off sale. Hashtag caught in 4K. Like, you weren't caught. You literally told everybody that you did this.
Yes. So you remember when TVs went from like to 4K?
Yes, yes. No, I get the reference. I just think it's
I'm just
stupid.
explaining it for other people
Mm.
because it's not
Oh
as
my
obvious
god.
for other
We were
people.
watching well, not we. My kid was watching Young Sheldon while I was working today. And at one point, like, the dad and the dad's friend are in the shed and they go to, like, turn on one of the, like, the little TV radio combos. He's like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
that? I'm like, that's a TV, dickhead. Yeah, no, I was like, are you kidding me right now? Um,
Well,
this is
they
another
were
one
they
that
were
that
born with twos in front of their.
I
Were they born with twos in their
they
date of birth? They're 2000 babies, right?
yes. Yeah.
So they'd never
Yeah.
seen a TV like ours.
No. No.
Poor babies.
Yeah.
Kids
This
are
one
all.
I don't really know. I don't really know what this is. Chugi, how do you say that?
I think it's
Cheugy, Chugi, which
chewy.
means, like,
Chewy.
I'm like, it means that it's like it's not in sync with current trends. So it's like it's not, like, necessarily uncool, but it's like not
We're
the
not doing that
coolest
right now.
thing.
Like,
Like, I'm gonna
sweatpants
be
are the
the
only thing that fits me. I would
like
say that to that.
like it's like I'm gonna, like, be the most chugi whatever person at the airport and scan my Apple Watch as my boarding pass.
Yeah, because we're not
Apparently
doing that.
that's not a thing anymore. I don't know. Um, ELI 5, which I was like, the fuck, like, I don't.
Dumb it down for me.
Right. It
That's what we
means
use.
explain like I'm 5, which is basically asking for something to be broken down like you would when explaining it to a child.
Yeah. You never heard that before?
No, never. I've never seen that acronym before, ever.
Well, in trade secrets and marketing, um, one of the things, one of the strategies is to explain something to somebody like they're 5. Da, 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 da. So if you ever think a commercial's too simple, explain it to you like you're 5.
Menti B
Oh, I need to look
stands
at the
for
other one.
mental breakdown. Again, to use it in a sentence, did you see JoJo Siwa humping her Tito's bottle? Menti B AF. This next one, now I'm gonna give this to you, and this is a literal quote. So OPP means opponent or, like, opposition, and to use it in a sentence, oh my god, why wasn't I born rich? You're my literal op right now. Again, that is a direct quote that was, like,
What?
said basically to me or to my partner. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Hold on, I'm
Yeah.
adding words.
Yeah. 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 That's like yeah. Apparently I'm an op, but whoever the op changes depending on what the teenager is
Comparing.
currently angsty about. Could be anything. Could be anything. You know. Dead ass, to use as emphasis, like, Oh my god, bro, why'd you jump off the roof? You're crazy. Dead ass.
I'm not finding what I'm looking for. Hold on. Let me move on
I
to the
don't know
other
what
one.
the fuck you just put on there. I have no idea. Okay, what the fuck is Skibbity?
Hold on. I'll read it to you, and then I'll. Skibbity is a word usually used to start a conversation, specifically a conversation spilled. Oh, it like cut off. Hold on.
Oh,
Filled
also,
with
deadass is not an older people thing. Her brother says it all the fucking time.
Beyonce says it all the time.
Yeah. Literally, both her brothers say it all the fucking time. In
Deadass.
text and at Snapchat. Just saying.
Deadass.
Deadass. What the fuck is...
Oh God.
What the fuck?
This could get worse.
Oh my god, what does this even mean? What
Okay, I think this is the third one. I think is the more truer meaning.
Okay, none of this makes any fucking sense. I'm not even gonna. I can't. I don't. It makes no fucking sense. None whatsoever.
Those who are
Zero.
under 10 make me feel old.
I'm
Oh,
like, if someone tried to like use any of what I just read in a conversation with me, I think I'd probably just block them. I'd be like, no,
a
fuck you.
Skibbity toilet. It's one of the worst memes of 2023.
Great.
Oh, do I want to click this?
And what the fuck is Reese?
Did I put that one in there?
You did. It's under Skibbity.
Someone who is loyal and can be true to people, but sometimes could be lying to you most of the time.
That makes no fucking sense.
But it's a loyal person.
Okay.
That one, I read the whole. I should not read things off of Urban Dictionary. I know what the meaning was. There's another one too.
No, my partner says Riz, which if you don't know, if you can't figure out Riz, like that's kind of on you. Riz is like short for charisma.
Yeah.
So you can be like, I've got plenty.
But it's not the same as Reese.
Not the same as Reese. Riz is something different because charisma is apparently too difficult to say.
You like took your whole mouth to say that when I could just say Riz.
And I don't know what the fuck Reese is. That I don't. I don't.
Based? You want me to look up based? Oh God.
Based? What the fuck is based?
Okay, Urban Dictionary. Like should I look on Urban Dictionary? To be unique, based means to be unique, be your own self. It's a slang word popularized by the rapper Lil B. Not Little.
The
Lil.
Fuck is Lil B?
That's a rapper. Didn't you just hear what I said? And used across social media spaces and offline.
I've never seen it used across any of my social media spaces, but okay.
I'm just going to put that, I'm going to be like, based. I'm going to make it my status right now on Facebook.
I think you should.
Wow. Are people going to know what I mean?
Probably not. I mean, if you have anybody under the age of like 15, maybe.
I can't say that I do. Let's just make this. Let's see.
No fucking idea.
Based. I can just put based. No sentence needed.
I don't know.
Based as fuck. Okay.
What does based mean again?
It means to be unique, to be your own self.
Uh-huh.
How do you use that in a sentence, Eddie? I'm not sure.
I think I feel like it in itself is a
I'm sentence. Based as fuck. Can I say that? Or I'm based sure. AF. Not unless they're watching you right now.
I don't.
No, my kids are in bed.
I understand that every every generation or whatever has their own slang, and a lot of slang is based off of like slang that has, you know, just like everything else, history repeats itself, right? So like things come back into fashion. So it's like a lot of slang kind of ends up coming back into play.
She says it is used sometimes as based take, but
The
doesn't get it.
fuck. Oh my
What
god,
is
I don't even. This is why sometimes maybe it's better that the kids just hide in their rooms all day, because then I don't have to worry about trying to have a conversation with them and have to deal with this. Like
so an example is that Eddie gives is that guy's backflip was based. So that guy's backflip was unique and his own.
But it's a backflip. There's nothing unique about a fucking backflip. It's a fucking backflip.
I'm just as confused as what does based
Anywho,
mean in
so
Gen Z?
while we're still coming up with
Also it means to be yourself and not care how other people view you. I'm based AF. Especially my face was painted all weird on Friday, and I was very based AF.
Yeah.
There I go.
Yeah.
Because you can't do a backflip. That's based.
You don't know that I can't do a backflip. Maybe I can absolutely do a backflip. You don't know my life.
I'm gonna have to look into this more.
This makes no sense.
What is
But anyway,
based?
if you would like to take tonight's tip and just as a clip and just kind of save it and play it on replay, so that if you ever like come across a teen when you
It
are
also can
out,
be. It also can
you
be
can now
used.
converse with them, and they will probably understand what you're saying, but you will not understand a single word that they are
If
saying.
somebody replies back to my status, I'm gonna lose it. But it's opposite. Oh, this is another one that I hear all the time. Cringe, like cringe. That's all you hear.
Yes. Yeah.
Cringe. But it also gives the definition of based as a word used when you agree with something or when you want to recognize someone for being themselves. For example, courageous, unique, or not caring what other people think. That's a better definition. Thank you.
Yeah, cringe can be literally anything. I've heard cringe used to describe everything from pants to
Cringe is dead? No,
like
I literally heard
I'm
people
pretty
under
sure my
the
child
age.
used cringe yesterday. Like their cringe is not dead. Like I've literally heard cringe used to describe everything from pants to a video to food to
Yeah.
literally my child's sense of humor apparently is cringe. I don't know. Everything
Oh,
is cringe. That's so camp.
that's coming back?
But camp doesn't. That's nice, new, and fresh. Okay. This is
You're gonna
I don't
irritate the hell
even.
out of him. That's the
Oh my
phrase.
god.
Cringe is
Cringe
dead.
is dead.
Embrace the
Embrace the
cringe.
cringe. Make the I don't oh my god. I don't know. Oh my god. I can't even do it.
I think Ben
Okay,
is starting
so
his own,
something that I wanted to chat a little bit about, and this is I wanted to talk about this because I have lots of friends who are
you have friends?
photographers. I have worked
What?
with many different types of photographers.
I'm sorry.
Um, and like we all know, like Felicia and I, like how many different times like we've worked with so many different photographers. We have
At
God,
least
I wish I could.
10.
I'm gonna have to dig up some of my old promo shoots and stuff because like I have worked with Felicia, who has taken promo shots of me. I have worked with Scotty Kirby. I have worked with we've both worked with Gabe King back in the day.
Mhm.
Worked with Bearded Gonzo. I've worked with Holly Shoemaker. Like I I've we've worked with so many different photographers, and all of them have their own unique style. they're the way that Gonzo shoots is not going to be the same way that Holly shoots, and the way that Holly shoots is not going to be the same way that Felicia shoots. The way that Felicia shoots is not going to be the same way that Scotty Kirby shoots. Like, everybody is going to have their own sort of style and their own way of shooting. Now, I always say, if you're going to go and get promos done or go take advantage of a photo shoot or a special or whatever, because Gonzo has offered specials. Holly always has specials. Like, they're photographers will often do that. Number one, to help clients. Number two, to be able to generate some income for themselves. Now, one of the things that you want to do is you want to go and, for God's sakes, look at the fucking photographer. Look at their work. Mm-hmm. What is their style like? Does their style fit your style?
Or are you willing to branch out and try something new?
Right. Because if I wanted to do sort of a high glam drag specific photo shoot, I don't know that I would necessarily go to like Holly for that, because Holly's style is a little bit grittier. It's a little bit darker. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, Holly's style, I fucking love Holly's style, but it is definitely not like Scotty Kirby. They're very different.
I would describe it as gritty, and then I feel like Scotty Kirby, and this is not to insult the art, is more of like the ones that used to like get done in the mall.
Like the glamour shots.
Yeah, like you use those pictures for everything.
Right, like they're high glam, and it's a different sort of style, right? Mm-hmm. And even like Gonzo, who does all sorts of amazing work, like his style is different from both Holly and Scotty Kirby. And that's not to say that like Gonzo, Holly, different people, like they can't do like high fashion, but that's not like their thing. It's different. And there's nothing wrong with that.
And we all don't want to do the same thing, because then if it looks like somebody else's,
right. And it's like, what bugs me is when people go because they want to go take advantage of a special, or they want to go take advantage of, like, they're like, oh, this person is like, I've never shot with this person before, so I'm going to go shoot with this person.
Yes, Duke's studio, I think, is still open.
And like, they go and they shoot, and they're like, oh, well, that's not what I wanted at all. Okay, well, did you look at all as to like what their style was, for fuck's sake? Like, mm-hmm. If you like, and then they get all weird and like mad at the photographer or whatever, and it's like,
I don't get weird about it. I figure out where I'm going to use it.
Some people do, because some people can't imagine branching out of what they usually do. Like they want this.
I'm like based AF, so I do whatever the fuck I feel like anyway.
And like, there are some photographers that like heavily edit, like heavily edit, and like we've seen people that have like, they'll take
some of my pictures, I would say, have been heavily edited. I'm like, I do not look like that, but I love it.
Like, well, that's the thing, and it's like, we see some of the like the super crazy heavily edited stuff, and we're like, okay, we know damn well that you don't look like that. Mm-hmm. First of all, you're like 40 pounds heavier, and your makeup does not look like that. Like, if you have to go, like, if you go in expecting like the photographer to basically do your makeup for you in post editing, like, that's no. Like, if you're, if you want, super dark and like, the sort of gothic industrial kind of thing, then you don't go to like someone that specializes in like wedding photography. Mm-hmm. Like that, I'm sure they'd be able to do it, but that's not their forte. Like, that's not where they're going to excel, and I'm sure that if you go in and you're like, hey, I want to do this really like dark and gritty shoot, they're going to be like, okay, I will do this, but I don't know that it'll be exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And there are I'm gonna say this. So
Uh-oh.
I actually have a photo shoot booked on Friday with Holly, and I'm super excited
Mm.
about it. Um, because it's going to be used as part of the promo for the Dragon Burlesque show at Wow Wow WestCon. So I'm super excited. I know that this is going to be absolutely fucking perfect. I'm not entirely sure what I'm wearing yet, but
Oh,
that's
that's
a
good.
me
That's
problem.
great. That sounds like you're
I
prepared.
actually I told Holly that I'm just going to go naked, and I just want her to just Photoshop everything on
Oh,
to me.
I will say that is something that a lot of us don't like.
Mm,
Do not say Photoshop this in.
mm-mm.
Unless it's something like fun like Espresso did today. Was that today?
I
With the
think so with the
Chipotle?
Chipotle. Yeah.
I mean, if it's
If it's
something that we've talked about, I'm okay.
right, if it's something
If
that
it's
that
a
makes
fur coat
sense,
that we
like,
talked about and I agreed on and I spent hours editing and
but also make it easy on the photographer. Like if you
Mhm,
want if you want something photoshopped, like if you want it to look like you're holding like the fucking world or something, or like a planet in your hand, come with like a ball of some sort
mhm.
that can be, kind of easily edited and turned into, like, don't just be like, can you, like, oh my god, can you make it so that like my hair looks like this, and can you like Photoshop my face and like give me a whole different outfit, and can you make it like mm, mm,
Now keep in mind, some of us can retouch, but also do not be mad when, um, when we incur, like, extra cost 'cause, my time is money too.
and that's another thing, like, so like Holly is doing this awesome thing right now where and I'm gonna shout this out. If you are a drag
Yeah.
entertainer and you want some new promo shots, and you want something that is like maybe a little bit different, like if you want some new promo shots, go see Holly. She's actually extending her special through July. Phoebe Phobia's got some done. Roman Holiday just had some done. Um, like
Yeah.
there's like a bunch of people are gonna do it, but she's doing it as a donation base. Now, here's the thing.
Ooh, I like that tip.
Hire a hair and makeup, yeah.
Mhm.
So here's the thing. Donation based means doesn't like don't screw your photographer over,
Mhm.
because like they still have to take their time to shoot, to edit, to do all the things. And you know understand that like when it comes to photographers, and I don't know how many times I've seen people argue that it shouldn't be that expensive, like, oh my god, are you kidding me right now? uh
If you pay
I
100 if you pay less than 250 for a photo shoot, don't complain about nothing.
Right, like, it's seriously. And like some of the, like, we've had some photo shoots with folks that have been extraordinarily reasonable, and I think it's amazing. And if you are working with somebody that does have like super reasonable rates, don't argue. Don't put a bunch of fucking demands on them. And if it's something like Holly's doing where it's donation based, don't just be like, okay, here's $20, thank you. Like,
$20?
you'd be surprised. Like, people do dumb shit. Like, if you
Oh,
can
well, since we're on the
afford.
topic, I feel like people don't know where the cost comes from. The cost comes from A, we set up before you get there.
Mm-hmm.
Lighting, we set up backdrops
Wait,
so
whoa,
people
whoa,
do.
whoa, hold up. You've never set up before one of my photo shoots. I always show up, and then you're like, okay, here, help me put up this backdrop.
You're welcome.
So I gotta do it my
Uh,
damn self. What the hell?
you've also never paid, so you're welcome.
You know
Um,
what? I was helping you. I was paying you in
you
exposure.
were paying me an exposure. I got it. Um, But so um, putting up props. If you've asked for anything extra, um, for some people, they've asked me for makeup, and I'm like, okay, so we're adding a cost. And I have had people be like, okay, we're just gonna cancel the whole thing. And I'm like, what photographer is offering to do your makeup? I don't know of any, but go with them, whoever they are. Um, also,
So a fun thing with a lot of Holly's specials when she does like her roulette special,
mm-hmm.
um with some of the roulette stuff and some of the other specials that she does, she will actually do your makeup.
So automatically, right there, I would say you owe Holly $75
Right.
or better. There's no way that somebody would walk in. I would not even appreciate that.
Most
$20.
photographers are not going to do your fucking makeup. It's just
So
not a
just so you
thing.
know.
And
Yeah.
for me, so here's one of my things. So if you're going to use, say if you're a drag artist of some sort, right? And this is just this is one of my own personal sort of pet peeve things. But so you're going to use this picture for like promotional purposes, assuming, right? You're gonna put it on flyers, you're gonna use it to like, hey, book me, whatever, right? So if you are going to do that and you cannot do your own hair and makeup, for me, I'm like, oh, that's false advertising then. So I'm gonna book you, and you're gonna what? You're gonna have to bring a makeup artist with you everywhere you go. And
Mm-hmm.
that's actually a pet peeve of mine with pageants too, because so I'm judging you on your makeup. That's not your face. Somebody else
Mm-hmm.
did that. So I'm gonna judge. I should judge that person. Why aren't they competing?
Well,
But
technically you are.
well, yeah. But and it's I think one of the other things that bugs the hell out of me is like you don't have to necessarily credit the photographer every fucking time you use like a photo. I try to do that as often as I can. Like
Mm-hmm.
every time if I share a picture from even the show at Wild Wild West Con, like that Pete took, like I will make sure that I credit the photographer. When I use something that Holly took, I will credit that. When I use one of Scotty's, whatever, like I will always, as often as I can, try to credit the photographer, even if that photo is being used on a flyer,
Mm-hmm.
because you may have made the flyer, you did not take that photo. I'm not saying you specifically, Felicia. I'm saying in general.
I was
Like
just say sometimes I do take the photo and make the
sometimes
flyer.
you do, like absolutely. But
Oh.
like let
Also, stop
let
complaining about the
people
prices of
know,
flyers.
who took the picture. Just like tonight, I'm wearing. I just took it off, but I was wearing two pieces of jewelry from two different people. This one was done by Lady Christian, and um, this badass piece. I love this piece. This piece was made by Crystal Beth, and I made sure that when I posted the picture after I took it tonight, that I credited, you know, both of the queens that made the jewelry, because someone might be like, "Hey, that's really cool. Let me go talk to that person about making jewelry." Like, and
Also,
it's
I tag Marissa in everything that I'm in.
right.
She probably
If I'm
watch.
wearing a Wigs of a Kind wig, I will absolutely tag Marissa in the picture. And somebody put in the time and effort to make the jewelry, to do the hair, to take the picture and edit it, and it's really sort of a common courtesy. It's really professional courtesy to acknowledge the people that put that time in to do that, because if it were that easy, you'd have done it yourself.
We
You're not
could
making
though.
your own jewelry. You're not taking your own picture. Like you're not doing it. If it were that easy, you'd do it your damn self. And you don't. So at least acknowledge the people that do.
And
What costumes and
as
whatever.
a fellow
Like
photographer, I appreciate handing off looking at my face for 4 hours to someone else.
my God, I would be so nitpicky when it came to my own face if I was like God, I get like annoyed just editing just the stupid like pictures that I do every Wednesday sometimes. I'm like,
I
like
so
to
I've
do
gotten
like
into so I've gotten into the habit of take like maybe like 10 and then delete like 4 or 5 and
mm,
then not editing them because then I get into the whole like head game of like, does this look good? Should I add something? Should I do this?
right.
I just want to put it up and leave it alone. And yeah,
Yeah.
not for me. N-
Yeah. That
Um,
that
Also, what I was
mm,
going to say is when you're paying the price that you're paying, you have to remember they have setup time, they have time that they spent with you, they have time that now they are mentally preparing themselves to look at you, in several different photos and making sure that you look the same in every single photo. I don't even paint the same way twice. So I don't Yeah, that is the hardest thing is like making sure you look the same because that can easily be fucked up and people complain about that. So, but it's all an art. And I think that even as queer people, as we support each other, that if it's not what you expected, you should have known what you were going for because you don't go to
right.
the shoe store um, saying that you're going to buy a shell top, and then all of a sudden you're like walking out with a pair of Chucks. So, um, and you don't blame the person that sold the shoe to you.
No, definitely. Yeah, no, don't. You're not going to blame the photographer because something didn't turn out right. You don't like the style or whatever. Like, you do not blame the photographer for something that could have been easily avoided. Number one, doing your research,
Hmm.
and number two, like if you go in with like, oh my god, the number of times that I've heard like a photographer having to do things like edit out like holes and shit, like dirt stains, whatever, like on costumes. Like, don't do
I mean,
that.
I'll do it, but I also don't like being yelled at when I don't do it.
No, go into like if you are the subject, if you're the one that's getting your picture taken, go in ready. Don't go in looking like you just fucking rolled out of bed. Like make sure that your costumes are where you want them to be. Make sure that everything looks the way you want them to. Like make sure that you look your best. You want to look good in these pictures. Don't expect everything to be edited out in post because that's bullshit. And if I'm a photographer and like uh like if I'm a photographer and someone rolls in with a ratty ass costume and they're like, "Oh, you can just fix it in post." I'd be like, "Okay, well then I'm going to charge you extra for that shit cuz why the
Hmm.
hell am I fixing your shit, you know?" Ooh, how do you feel about people that like take a picture that you did and then like you edited it, you did all the things, they take it and they put a fucking filter on it before they post it. How do you feel about that? Tell me how you feel.
It's nerve wracking, especially. Okay, so people don't understand the factor of being blown out. And it's not like a good blowjob. It's like literally you put too much brightness and maybe you threw on way too much contrast and you look basically like you can only see the eyes and the lips and everything is just blown out. Like even people
My
of color,
favorite
I
is
have
when they put like the super soft filter on everything, so like they're just blurry.
yeah. And I'm
I'm
like,
like for
I literally looked at you and went through every piece of this to make sure that you looked good and you put sometimes the filters make them look worse,
oh
and I'm like,
yeah, no, 9 times out of 10, yes, no, I don't think I've ever seen anybody put a filter on an already edited photograph and it looked better.
"Why would you do that?" Or they love the pixelated look when I've worked so hard to make sure that you don't have a pixelated look.
Mm.
Like, that photo that's hanging up in there, it is not pixelated, and I mm, Hmm. Huh.
Mm-mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
no. No.
Where'd it
No.
go? You moved it?
Which mine it's up there.
Oh.
It's
But
up that way.
I mean, you have to think. I mean, not all of us are at the same skill level as well. Um, uh, and some people will say, like maybe I just started a year ago, and some of them are fantastic. But also, I don't think that stop asking your friends for discounts. It's not okay. If I offer the discount, that's my choice. But you also don't ask any other photographer for a
Right.
discount. So don't ask me. Um, unless, like it's a Holly thing, like we're doing a special. Then there's more leadway to that. But um filters
So
are
Ben says filters are one thing, but how do you as a photographer feel if someone took a photo you took and make it like black and white or grayscale or monotone, like a sepia washed or whatever? Like,
I think that's okay, but I feel like uh, I still feel like
so
I would never do that to something like when we work with like Brandon or something or
right, right. So one of the things, like I am not a photographer. Also, I'm just gonna, just as a side note, just because you own a camera doesn't mean you're a fucking photographer. You own a camera. Well, like I own a camera. I am not a photographer, but I do know that you can't just take a picture and throw a black and white filter on it. It doesn't always work that way. Contrast and things, shadows, light, it doesn't work all the time. And I see that all the time with these photographers that
Mhm.
literally just take a picture and then just make it, they hit the black and white button.
Ew.
And I'm like, okay, I know that you did that, and it doesn't work. You've lost now the detail in this over here. You've lost the contrast in this here. Like, that's
Mhm.
not, you can't just do that. And I can tell when you've done that because it looks like
Yeah.
shit.
You can't just press the button. You have to like go.
No.
There's a thing,
Lighting
ladies
and
and
like
gentlemen,
it,
called composition,
yeah.
and you
And
want
like I
that to.
said, I am not a photographer. I did learn a couple of things after dating a photographer for a hot minute, but like I'm still not a photographer and I will never claim to be a photographer. I can take some decent pictures, but uh, eh.
If you want to hire that brother's cousin slash niece slash whoever for your wedding, that's fine with me. I will sit at home and wait for you to complain about the pictures a week later. Also, timing. If you, ugh, I can't emphasize this enough. Timing is a thing. I take forever, so there. Uh, but if you have a timeline in mind, if you have a timeline in mind, you need to let the photographer know immediately whenever you start
Mm,
the conversation. That could affect your cost.
yep.
Let's say that. But it also gives it gives respect to the photographer to figure out how to make that happen. And if they agree to it, then that's on them.
Because
But
like if there's
if
no
you say like
rush, yeah,
tomorrow, I'm sorry. What? You're barely paying for this photo shoot
right.
and now you want it tomorrow?
I try
Mm,
my very best. Like, unless there's a dire need and I need something like yesterday, like I try to, if I'm gonna book a photo shoot, I'm like, okay, we need it for this thing, but it's not for like another month or so. So you have a couple weeks to be able, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a big
mhm.
deal. Like, you just, take the time. I think when we've gone in for photo shoots, for Fefe seasons, I think we've usually said something like you can take your
I
time
always
with most of
say the
them. We'd
time.
love to have like one of the both of us plus like one of each individual, like as soon as you can get them, but it's not like we need them right now. Like, but
I
those are the
mean, I've done that
priority.
for the last couple because, like Scotty Kirby, that one was around my birthday, and I wanted it
Hmm.
before my birthday.
Hmm.
I literally said that before I
Right,
took anything off. I was like,
right,
"Can I have one for my birthday?"
right.
Like, and it was a thing. It was not
Mhm.
like I'm gonna surprise you with a
Right,
message a week before my birthday
right.
and say, "I need this," because that's
And
not
they'll
fair.
let you know, like they should let you know, no, that's not doable. I've got all these other people that I'm editing or whatever, that are ahead of you, so it's
Also,
like,
don't don't complain about your photographer while they're editing your photos. Could end bad for you.
Oh, Lord. So yeah, basically, don't be a dick with your photographer. Credit your photographer. Credit any artist that you have worked with. Don't shortchange your photographer, and just respect the art. You want them to respect your art, so you need to respect theirs. Just gonna throw that out there. So yeah.
Always
We do have a
come
couple.
ready.
We do have a couple of current event thingies.
Oh, I see that man's name and it made me cringe.
Mm. Oh, the
Cringe.
campaign is tonight, tomorrow. Or not the debate.
Oh, I think is it tonight?
I don't know. I'm not watching it. I can't. I can't do it. I can't. I can't. I'll catch the memes tomorrow, but I can't.
When is the presidential debate? I don't understand. Okay.
I'll find out. Anyway.
Tomorrow.
Oh yeah, it's tomorrow.
Will Trump
Yeah,
show up
tomorrow.
for Thursday's debate? Somebody said probably not.
I don't
Why
know.
wouldn't
I'm
he?
not watching it. I'm just not. I'm
Well,
just not gonna
last time I watched the separate debates, and I just, while listening, I put Snapchat filters on them.
It's the only acceptable way.
I had to find a way to digest this, and that was my way, is with humor and multiple filters.
CNN says it's tomorrow at 9.
At night?
9. Yes,
Like
I think.
Eastern time, or that's late.
I don't
I mean, I
know.
stay up late, but I don't wanna be watching 2
Mm-mm.
old white men argue at 9 o'clock at night.
9 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, okay. It's like, that's a little late.
Yeah. Still not
Okay.
gonna watch it. So.
Trump has made some campaign promises that include finish finishing building the wall, which is, made of steel, and people can still walk through it. Promoting flying cars, even though he is one of the ones that is still promoting diesel, and that Joe Biden is taking away your rights to get fossil fuel
Right.
by getting an electronic car. Okay, it all makes sense, right? Yeah. Cryptocurrency, even though he is one that likes to give away hush money and is not really rich, he's just rich with collateral.
Mm-hmm.
Um, is this still happening? Oh
Mm-hmm.
god. Building 10 new freedom cities. I'm gonna let you to explain that. I just
So
need to
let me. Man,
do we,
I'm gonna get the.
are you gonna give the definition,
Yeah.
or are you gonna give it the white supremacy definition?
So
Can you give
let
us
me get
both?
the Trump's like.
Are we along the lines of gentrification?
So um he says that he would hold a contest to charter up to 10 freedom cities roughly the size of Washington D.C. on undeveloped federal land.
Mhm.
They would reopen the frontier and give all hardworking families a new shot at home ownership and in fact the American dream.
Mhm. Mhm. We're all
So
struggling right
that
now, so
right that but that's not a also not a thing like that.
also, there's other land that's available that's not on federal land. Just want you all to know that.
Right. The what
Also, Trump promises to shut down all schools that, is it admit or support, something of that nature, trans kids.
mhm. Oh, he's also going to yank all healthcare for trans youth and probably trans adults as well. Like, he's gonna
Yeah.
Cool.
Because trans people are destroying the nation.
You betcha. This one's a little bit more positive. In a historic move, Biden has pardoned all veterans convicted or discharged over their sexuality or gender identity, effectively breaking the curse that was DADT, as well as Article 125 of the Military Code that prohibited gay sex and has been in place from 1951 to 2013.
Oh,
This
wow.
is a good thing. It's estimated that about 100,000 people have been expelled from the military because of their sexual orientation since World War II, including more than 13,000 during the Don't Ask, Don't Tell era of 1993 to 2011. One of the
Wow.
biggest impacts of the clemency is that veterans will now have access to the benefits that they've otherwise been denied. That's huge. Huge.
No
Veterans that have
way.
been dishonorably discharged or convicted of basically being gay have not had access to their veteran benefits. So
Does
the
this
fact that this
does
is
this affect
happening
people?
means that they will actually be able to have access to that now.
So does this go into play for trans folks as well? Because I know
Yeah.
some trans folks that have been denied their
Yes.
um,
Biden said, today I am righting a historic wrong by using my clemency authority to pardon many former service members who were convicted simply for being themselves, Biden said in a statement. Our nation's service members stand on the front lines of freedom and risk their lives in order to defend our country. Despite their courage and great sacrifice, thousands of LGBTQI plus service members were forced out of the military because of their sexual orientation or gender identity.
way to go through for Pride Month last minute. But
Right. But
wow,
uh, again,
there was
I know
pride at
this
the
is
White House
it's an
too.
election year, so it's all whatever. It should have been done much
Years ago.
long time ago.
It
But
shouldn't even
the
been
fact that
done.
it's right, the fact that it is being done, and the fact that like there are right there's the story about the military vet who came out of the closet in his obituary. He'd had like an
Oh
almost
shit.
30-year relationship with the same man and will be buried next to his partner, who also I believe passed away, but because he was a military vet and in the military he was in the closet his entire fucking life, only coming out in his fucking obituary at the age of I think 82.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
The oppression is real.
Right. So the fact that this is actually happening, and the fact that all of these people who were told that they weren't good enough or whatever to
Worthy.
be in the military because
Mhm.
they were gay or trans or whatever, even just suspected. Some of them may not even have been actually. It was because there was a time when all you could do is be like, he's a fucking queer, and boom, you're out.
Well, and if we're not careful, that'll be what's happening. You know who he's voting for. But, mm, yeah, we live a very oppressed life. Also, I saw, because it's an election year, I don't think I've ever seen this before, but I think Barbara was there, but Pride on the White House lawn.
Mm.
Um, I was like, that's great. He could have
Oh,
done 4 years of that.
I meant to talk about
Or
this
has he?
before and I completely forgot.
What?
So Pride in the Pines was a few weeks ago, and I don't know if y'all heard that Jill Biden just sort of showed
Showed up?
up. Um, so here's my thing with that. First of all, Pride in the Pines is a very small pride. It's not a large pride by any scope of the imagination.
Mhm.
When Jill Biden shows up to these things, she brings with her an entourage of cops and secret servicemen and like all of these fucking people that basically go against everything that Pride is supposed to be. People are trying to get like cops out of fucking Pride.
Mhm.
And apparently, from what I was seeing in posts, is that people were standing in line for over an hour to get in, and then there were
Oh,
times
wow.
when security was actually not letting people in. They would turn them away. all because Jill Biden was there. Now, here's my thing.
Oh,
Yeah. Some people were like, oh my God, this is amazing. I was like, really? Because this is fucking privilege. This is white, straight privilege. She can show up wherever the fuck, go in, have her fucking cops there, Secret Service, turn people away that are there to actually celebrate Pride. And who knows why the hell these people were turned away? I guarantee you they wouldn't have been turned away had she not been there. But who the fuck knows?
so
Like, I'm not a fan.
I have
Not a
been on
fan.
the other side of this, where we have have to be careful. But what should have happened is there should have been like some kind of advisory, of, or somebody should have taken the steps to at least tell people, like, if you want to get in the park by a certain time,
Right.
because she didn't just show up. I'll say that, because these people don't just show up, because
Right, but
that is,
it wasn't done well. It wasn't done well, and it
yes,
was
and that would have been on
like
both sides, because when I can say from experience, when something like that happens, it is very planned. Even if it was a surprise, is very planned, and things like exits and where people are gonna go or how to
well,
shift
right, but then
population.
what ended up too was that like performances were canceled, shows were canceled
Mhm,
because she showed up, and I'm like, no, 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 that's bullshit. That is
mhm.
absolutely bullshit. You have these people that are there. Pride is not for you. Pride is not for you, cishet white woman. Like,
But
this is not her pride. Like,
I
you know what I
also
mean? Like,
question the Pride organization. If they knew
oh,
that
for sure.
she was coming, they should have given fair warning, because it seemed like everybody was getting fair warning like 2 or 3 days before, and then all the chips fell down. But we have had people of that stature before and not shut down a whole area. So
Yeah, and it
I
wasn't
don't know.
it wasn't handled well, and honestly, I still feel bad for like the performers that had to like that was their gig. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
and because
And
this
for
cishet
some of
white
us,
lady showed up,
doing
like
gigs is
I'm
like
like,
our living.
no, that should never have happened that way. That should never have happened that way. And then with all the people that don't want cops at Pride, you're literally going to bring someone that's going to bring her own, not just cops, but Secret Service, and like it's
They
just
literally follow you everywhere,
right.
so
Like, it's just
you don't have a choice.
icky the way it was done, and I'm not thrilled with the way, especially with a small Pride like that. Like, you want to go? She was at, I think, Philly Pride like a couple
Mhm.
weeks before or something. That's a much bigger Pride.
And they can
She
handle
probably
the
could have
capacity.
Right. She probably could have gotten in and out, and nobody would have even really noticed. To do that to a smaller Pride like Flagstaff, that was horseshit. And
Mhm,
honestly, shame on the Pride organization for letting it go down that way. Like, that's not okay at all.
mhm.
Like, you
I
you
wasn't
you
there.
did a disservice to all the gay LGBTQ people that were up there. You did a disservice to the performers that had to cancel their shit. You did a disservice to basically everybody but your damn self, so you can pat yourselves on the back and see, look, Joe Biden was here. Like, nah, I don't know about that. Like,
Um,
it's not really the flex that you think it is. Like, I
it's
don't know
something
about that.
for a Pride event to think about, because it's unfair to the general public, where they should feel safe, have a ton of security and cops and stuff there. I understand completely. I understand both sides, to be honest, and I have not commented on either thing, because I wasn't involved. If I had been involved, then I would have something to say, because I feel like, um I have been the person that's like, no, no, we can't shut down that exit, because like literally we have people that are coming in, and they need to, I mean, and they are willing to, in most cases, they're willing to work with. So that's the part when I heard all this,
Right.
is that, like, if you had told the Secret Service, because they come in not only once, they come in like maybe like 3 or 4 times. to like scope out the area and do all this stuff. So when they say like, "Oh, we didn't know," like, mm,
yeah, as someone that benefits from white privilege, I feel like I can call that shit out because that's total
and
like
it's
just
also possible that Jill didn't even know that that was happening and just went
but
about her business because
again, like in an election year during Pride Month, it just seems performative. It seems like a bunch of
it probably
bullshit.
was.
But that's just me. Like
I
I
wonder if the I-17 was closed the day before. Possibly.
yeah, because yeah,
Especially if she
could
was
go for
staying
it.
overnight.
Right. What gigs do you have coming up, Felicia? Because I don't have anything.
I got something. I'll be in Winslow Friday night for the Transmission Drag Show hosted by Zara Stevens. Hair has decided to stick to my lips now. So
Yeah.
I've been sitting here for an hour and all
Right.
of a sudden hair is
Now
in
it
my mouth.
decides it's like, okay.
It's not Marissa's fault. It's mine. Um, and that show starts at 6? 6. I feel like it's 6.
I don't care.
Um,
I'm not in it.
or 7. I'm sorry. I don't do the inviting. I just show up places. And I have some other gigs coming up. We're gonna start our run for Drink Me Tea Room in August. We're taking July off because Pride Month has been done busy. Um, that'll give me time to heal this foot. And if you see me in Winslow, just know if I'm in a flat shoe, do not comment about that. Girls like me should be wearing heels.
Oh, I'm totally gonna do that. Yeah.
I'm gonna take a picture and say yes, I'm wearing a flat
I'm
shoe.
gonna find a picture. I'm gonna zoom in on it and be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Highlight it in
Mm-hmm.
yellow.
Yeah.
Put memes around it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
Absolutely.
Um, but yeah, I'm more worried about my foot health than worrying about what people think about. I'm based AF, so there. Cringe if you see my. That comment showed up right on time.
Right.
Yeah,
That's funny.
cringe.
Um.
Um,
Yeah.
but
So
yeah, I look forward to seeing folks in the off season. I look forward
um,
to our new season
Felicia and I are going to be
soon.
meeting in July. We're going to be talking about like what we want to do for next season, and if you want to get the
Is that
details
your
on like
birthday
what kind of things we're
weekend?
talking about, go join the Patreon. Um, but we're gonna talk about some things and see what we want to do and how we want to do it. We're gonna be trying to get
Also, the
some
people that say they haven't
content.
seen me on Facebook, you need to check other places
Mm. We're gonna
like
try
Patreon.
to get some stuff recorded for Patreon and all that good stuff. So we are not going away. We're gonna still try and be doing stuff
If anything,
during
we're
the
gonna figure
summer.
out how to be more in your face.
Yes, like there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff. But and I know that we're technically like we're ending early, but we're also not ending early. This is when we would normally end. We just have fewer episodes because we started later. But it is what it is. So and it's too fucking hot for
Also,
drag.
on if you have suggestions on what you want to see in the next season, you should join the Patreon. But also send us a message and let us know because I thoroughly value um, people's opinions until I don't give a fuck. Um, but I also value people's opinions. But it's also good to like hear like what you want instead of just sitting here and being like, "We're doing what you we think you want," because it's not okay. Um, but also join the Patreon because then you can definitely see what you want there too as well. So yeah. I have had fun. I will say that my task at hand, that has been a task for the whole year, um, The chirping has not happened tonight because I got a abrupt message about noonish that said, "For the love of God, make sure the chirping is not going off tonight." And I
You're
usually
welcome.
do. And
Do
so,
you usually? Because I'm pretty sure that I could go back to pretty much every episode but one.
yeah. So if I do it too early, it'll start chirping by the time I get back in here. So I did it right before the kids went to bed. So you're welcome.
Oh my
And
God.
you're welcome. And hopefully by next season, surprise, no chirping, season finale, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I also
But
sewing
thank
this whole
you
outfit by
to
myself.
everyone that watched us this season, who listened on the podcast, who supported us on the Patreon. We appreciate you, even though we know that the season was a little rough and kind of in the ways. And we're gonna do better next season, one way or another. But we do have some things, planned, and we're gonna figure out some more stuff. But we appreciate you, and it's been over a decade of this, and the fact that we're still going because people still watch us is amazing to me. So
Why are
I
they still
appreciate you
watching us?
so
Why?
much.
What are we
So
doing?
I don't know. Um, so if you want like everything that's going to be up to date and all the stuff that's going to be sort of sneak peek for season 13, make sure that you join our Patreon, because that's where everything is going to
Lucky
be. Oh my
13.
God. So yeah, thank you all again so much for watching this season.
Thank you for putting up with my chirping. Chirp, chirp. I'm going to start shirts that say chirp, chirp. And only you will know. You're welcome. But we will see you next time for your Wednesday night conversation. Good night.